One who is engaged is unliberated. One who is disengaged is liberated. Bhikkhus, one who is engaged is unliberated. One who is disengaged is liberated. Consciousness, bhikkhus, while standing, might stand engaged from, based upon, established upon, from a sprinkling of delight it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Or consciousness, while standing, might stand engaged with feeling, based upon feeling, established upon feeling. With a sprinkling of delight it might come to growth, increases and expansion. Or consciousness, while standing, might get stand engaged with perception, based upon perception, established upon perception. With a sprinkling of delight it might come to grow, increase and expansion. Or consciousness, while standing, might stand with violation formations, based upon violational formations, established upon violational formations. With a sprinkling of delight it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Bhikkhus, through some, might say, apart from feeling, apart from perception, apart from violation formations, I will make knowing the coming and going of consciousness, its passing away and rebirth, its growth, increase and expansion. That is impossible. Bhikkhus, if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust from the form element, for the feeling element, for the perception element, for the violation of formations element, for the consciousness element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for establishment of consciousness. When that consciousness is not established, not coming to growth, negative, it is liberated. By being liberated it is steady, by being steady it is content, by being content it is not agitated. Being unagitated is he personally attains nirvana. He understands has destroyed his birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done had been done. There is no more for this state of being. Without delight, the three underlying tendencies of abandonment. Bhikkhus, dependent on the I and the forms, I consciousness arises, the meeting of three is contact, with the contact as condition. Dependent on the ear and the sounds, ear consciousness arises, the meeting of three is contact, without contact as condition. Dependent on the nose and odours, nose consciousness arises, the meeting of three is contact, with a contact as condition. Dependent on the tongue and flavours, tongue circumstances arises, the meeting of three is contact, with contact as condition. Dependent on the body and tingles, body consciousness arises, the meeting of the three contract, with contract as condition. Dependent on the three mind and mind objects, mind consciousness arises, the meeting of the three is contact, with contact as condition. There arises a feeling, felt as pleasure or painful, or neither pleasure or painful. When one is touched by a pleasant feeling, if one does not delight in it, welcome it and remain it, holding on to it, then the underlying tendency is to lust does not lie within. When one is touched by a painful feeling, if one does not sorrow, grieve, lament, does not weep, beat in one's breast and becomes distraught, then the underlying tendency to aversion does not lie within one. When one is touched by a neither painful nor pleasant feeling, if one understands as it actually is the origination, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to that feeling, then the underlying tendency to ignore does not lie within one. Bhikkhus, that one shall hear and now make the end of suffering by abandoning the underlying tendency to lust for pleasant feeling, by abolishing the underlying tendency to aversion towards painful feeling by extirpating the underlying tendency to ignore that in regard to either pain or present feelings. By abandoning ignorance and arising true knowledge, this is possible. Freed from suffering bhikkhus. One does not seek delight in form, does not seek delight in suffering. One who does not seek delight in feeling, does not seek delight in suffering. One who does not seek delight in perception, does not seek delight in suffering. One does not who seek delight in violation or formations, does not seek delight in suffering. One who does not seek delight in consciousness, does not seek delight in suffering. One who does not seek delight in suffering, I say, is freed from suffering.